Greetings fellow modelling citizens, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me, you are most welcome as always. I come before you today with a very serious issue to discuss and something of an emergency session. I'm going to try to keep a straight face for this one because when you hear it and see it it's going to blow your mind, I promise you. So you've all seen, I've done and others have done news about the Lancaster 132 scale, huge kit, beautiful kit coming from Border Model, using the former Wingnut Wings moulds or designs of moulds. Today there was a rumour started circulating around last night that it had been cancelled or delayed, and all sorts of strange stories started to ruminate. And here we are, it's the 5th of November, and it really is firework night because the fireworks have started. So the situation is, I've actually got in front of me, and this is what I implore you to go and look at. I'll post a link at the bottom of this vid, so I want you to go and look at this yourselves, because we have a statement from Border Model, a long, strange, rambling statement. Frankly, it's a bit of a rant. It comes across to me as a bit of a rant. Now, if we're completely truthful about it, people have been saying, obviously, that there's been a lot of debate. I've talked about it, about the pricing, which seems very high on this kit. It was always going to be high, of course, but it's been higher than probably most of us thought. But there's news of this delay. I'm going to read you a little bit of this statement. I'm not going to read it all, for fear of being sued, and you'll see why when you actually read it yourself. But basically it starts off saying, today Border Model will issue a statement about Lancaster. We released the 132 Avro Lancaster with full interior 2 months ago. Didn't mention any words about Wingnut Wings in our official presentation. Only the box art. We didn't show any rendering from their company. Only the box art, which had been purchased from Mr. Mark Postlethwaite, as a lot of you know, which is very good. And he goes on to say, we now have the rights to use this painting. Although all models know that this kit first belonged to Wingnut Wings, in the design terms I think they mean. I'm not going to read any more of this statement, but trust me, this is huge. You must read in the link below, because you will not believe what you're going to read. It's as though these Border Model and basically what they're alleging is that Wingnut Wings, allegedly, they claim, didn't pay for the moulds. And I'm going to be careful with my words here because I don't know what the truth of this is, right or wrong either way. But there is a major dispute between these two organisations, it's clear. Apparently they claim that the Chinese moulding company weren't paid by Wingnut Wings, or weren't completely paid. Some of the language is a bit ambiguous, a little bit, translation afflicted, shall we say. But it goes on to basically allege that Wingnut Wings never paid for the moulds. Money wasn't settled. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. And it basically says that they tried to contact them for about 18 months and they didn't get any communication. And then Border basically stepped in. This is a long statement, and it goes on and on. Border stepped in and purchased the moulds, but of course, they, as I've alluded to before, they didn't have any of the design or CAD rendering. So it was quite an uphill struggle because they have to sort of reverse engineer everything to try and understand what goes where and how to make the instructions make sense. They also alleged that there were some issues with the quality of the moulds. There were details were missing, parts are missing, some parts could not be assembled, etc, etc. And they had to spend a lot of money tweaking or repairing moulds because they didn't want it to come to the market with flaws. It's going to have a high retail cost for the above reasons. Okay, well that does explain a little bit of why it's so extraordinarily much more expensive than we were told it was going to be. It's always going to be a bit more, I think, as everybody as I think agrees. But it's how much more, and some of the numbers bandied around, as you know, have been up to £700. I don't think that's quite true. I think the word is it's going to be perhaps between £550 £600. But we shall see. We shall see. He goes on to say, and I say I'm going to pick just odd bits of this because some of this is so controversial. It's dynamite, quite frankly. I've never read a statement from a company like it, especially when it's quite emotive. Somebody's written this when they're angry, I think. Or maybe they've had a few drinks or both. It says basically, this is the reason the retail price is high. We received a letter from the lawyer of Peter Jackson, the founder of Wingnut Wings, in October, however. Again, I'm not going to read all this because it sounds like it's some judice, and I'm going to be careful what I say. Basically, they say that essentially Wingnut Wings are claiming that it remains their intellectual property. The moulds are their design, etc., etc. And they go on to say, they sort of repeat this allegation that it wasn't paid for, and that being an aircraft, it can't be intellectual property. So they don't believe that this can be true, and blah blah. I mean, this is absolutely astonishing, you know. And then it gets very emotive, which is why I'm going to choose my words so carefully. Not simply read the statement, because I know, you know, it's out there, but sorry, I don't want to get dragged into this. It's just to raise your interest, to make you aware of it. It's basically saying what they feel is, you know, they're stating their sort of legal case here against Wingnut Wings, and saying that the moulding company in China was going to go bust. They were in financial difficulties. They've helped to save them basically by giving them, you know, the business, and the fact that they retain the moulds because they weren't paid for, and therefore because their original agreement with Wingnut Wings presumably was, in their view, obviously they must think it's null and void. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Don't know what the laws are. But it goes on and it goes on, and it starts to talk about Peter Jackson, a little bit personal in places. I think it's not a statement I would have made if I was at the head of this company, if I'm honest. I'm not saying they're wrong to make us aware, but I think it needed bits of editing and filtering down, because it's, in places it seems to get quite emotive. It does praise Peter Jackson's film director qualities, but it just says a bit too much. It's a little bit. It's astonishing. It's astonishing. It's absolute dynamite. It's definitely November the 5th, isn't it? It's firework now. I'm not going to read it all. I'll just read it down. I want to read it to you, but I think I better not. There's some pejorative language which is perhaps very unwise that's been used here. I think of just a short statement saying there's a delay. They go on at the end to basically say. I'm trying not to laugh, because it's unusual to see statements like this. They say basically they hope Peter Jackson can reopen another modelling company and basically do battle with him, and they mean in competition with him. Again, it's just the language that's used. But they say either way, whether we do end up competing with Peter Jackson or not, either way we will release Lancaster. Now they don't say when, but he did mention earlier that I think at the start, he said their intention was to release in December. Well, we will see. I'm not going to go into any more detail. I want this to be short, for fear of legal Armageddon on my head. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just reading what's on. This is on Facebook. I'm going to put the link in below. You must go and read it. If this subject has interested you even a slightly little bit, go and read this statement, because you will be surprised by it. It'll blow your socks off. It's going to be better than any fireworks you'll see tonight on November the 5th here in the UK, because we have firework night, you know, bonfire night. Guy Fawkes night, as we sometimes call it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, keep it really brief. Yeah, I just can't believe I've read this, and I can't believe... It does explain a lot. There's obviously been a lot going on behind the scenes which none of us have been quite aware of, and we all suspect there's something else that we weren't being told. Well, now they kind of are telling you. It's just the manner it's told, and it's a little bit... it's a bit too frank in places, I think, and it's a bit too blunt, a bit too aggressive even. But it's good that they've actually told us what's been going on. But if I was them, I'd modify that. I'd remove that statement, modify it down, make it shorter, a bit more polite, and just say there's been a bit of a dispute, and keep it to that, you know, and tell us when we can expect to see it and what we can expect to see. Better still, show us some instructions and all that stuff, which we really want to see. I'll take it from there. I never imagined that I didn't intend really to do another video on this subject, actually, because as I've said before, I don't think I'm going to be reviewing the kit or buying the kit. It wasn't... I saw the news last night, the rumour of the news, and I just thought, no, I'm not going to respond. I don't know if there's any fact in this. But this is on their official Facebook page, Border Model. So this is coming from Border. Somebody's been, you know, authorised to make this statement. It does remind me a little bit of the AK Interactive condemnation publication. It's not quite as bad as that, actually, obviously, because that was very controversial. But it's getting there. It's another slightly questionable choice of wording. Let's put it this way. Anyway, enough from me. You don't hear me just talking about it. Go and have a read of it yourselves. You will be astonished and stunned when what you read. It's very, very juicy stuff. A little bit entertaining, and kind of sad in a way. I mean, I don't understand it. They're even suggesting Peter Jackson's got emotional attachment to the Lancaster and things. You couldn't make this up. Go and have a read yourself. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Sorry it's only brief. Just a bit of news, breaking news for you there. So it's come out at lunchtime basically, Friday 5th of November. Have a look, see what you think, and please tune in. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Ding the notification bell if you haven't done that already. But don't forget to tune in next week. We've got more videos that are the Telford Scale Model World alternative shows, and there's going to be another 4 to come. We've got cars, we've got my modelling botch-ups, we've got some armour and figures, and we've got the last one I think everybody will enjoy particularly, where I show a variety of things and ask you what your favourite models are, why, what is it you look for in a model, and what do you enjoy the most, and all that sort of stuff. So it's throwing it open, you know, to your comments, which are always welcome anyway. Anyway, thanks a lot, and I'll just say enjoy the interesting statement that you're about to read when you go and click on the link. And thanks for joining me. Take care of yourselves, and bye for now.